Yes, thank you, Jules. They are indeed the burning questions as these two come together in East Yorkshire. Well, signs of a whole revival after a difficult start, but tempered by emphatic defeat at Norwich. Sunderland shooting for the summit again after Burnley deposed them yesterday. A weekend full of intrigue and excitement in the Championship, and this, the final act. Well, let's take a check on the teams, and there's certainly plenty of interest here. Gustavo Puerta was the big winner of their sunshine break in Turkey, according to Tim Walter, and the Leverkusen loanee is rewarded with his debut in midfield. While Charlie Hughes starts for the first time in central defence, deposing the centre-back stroke inside left, Sean McLaughlin, who started every league game so far. Xavier Simons claims the role at the base of midfield. Oscar Zambrano is on the bench, while Abu Kamara back in attack. 4 changes in all after a humbling experience at Norwich. An unchanged Sunderland side for the 4th successive game, and as against Leeds, the tactical questions and considerations abound. We're unlikely to see Dan Neil drop into the back line as he did in the early stages then, but expect Chris Rigg to appear alongside Wilson Isidore frequently. The 17-year-old is sparkling, the youngest in the youngest Championship team. There is potential for a Sunderland debut for Aaron Connolly. He's on the bench and returns to his previous club today. Well, there is a man, Ivo Pandor, the Hull City goalkeeper, in the full glare of Lee Hendry's spotlight.
Yes, he is, especially in that pink outfit. He looks magnificent, by the way. But yes, listen, he's key in the way Hull want to play and the way they set up. We touched on how much possession they like. We know that they like to play through the lines. I'm just a little bit concerned. There's lots of changes that have been made today. He's got to be at it, and he has been at it all season. He's been instrumental in saves. And obviously, as I said, he does set the ball rolling for Hull. He's one to watch today. And this young man, well, I'm really excited to see him live here today because he is just growing from strength to strength. It's great to see a young man coming into a football team really relishing the fact. And let's face it, a Sunderland side with all the expectation, he is absolutely loving life at the moment, and long may it continue, because I'll tell you what, when he gets into them forward areas, he supports the forward line, and as we've seen this season, he's got a great eye for goal.
One of the key factors from one so young is the way that he's implemented lessons from experiences both good and bad, and experiences good, bad and indifferent so far for Tim Walter at the Hull City helm. 3 victories, 3 draws, 3 defeats. We were promised when he arrived by those who've seen his teams in Germany a roller coaster ride. Sometimes even the rails disappear, so it will be very intriguing as to what type of game we see today. Regis Lebris and co. certainly poised to take advantage of any slip-ups or errors. There's a real sense of connection again around here after difficult times under the previous ownership. And they did make significant strides forward in the previous campaign without ultimate reward in terms of a playoff place. The road so far has been strewn with obstacles. They are yet to beat a team currently above them in the table. This, a hugely significant test for Hull City. Get us away in their traditional amber and black, while it's about 50 shades of blue for Sunderland today. And the press is on immediately, but the way Hull play, the cohesion of that press and where to go is going to be distinctly more difficult, because you never quite know how they're going to seek a way out.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, and that's why I touched on it. You know, you're bringing new faces into key areas, particularly in that midfield. As you know, we've got the likes of Puerta coming in. Obviously, Simons can play in there. We know we've seen him playing there, but you know, you do feel, in particular, the way that Sunderland like to go about their business is that they'll press high up the pitch. They've got bags of energy, very good young side, and they are loving life at the moment.
Relatively minor tweak to what we showed you. Malem on the right of the midfield three, Puerta the left for Hull. As Mundell seeks to make an early inroad and forces a corner. Sirkin is often one to watch in these situations, the number 3. And he again is the target, although getting there ahead of him was Chris Mepham.
Yeah, he just got in his way, didn't he? Actually, the ball went out of play. You can see exactly what they're trying to do. They're just trying to get Sirkin coming around that back post where he can just have a free head up, maybe to go himself. We're just pushing that back into the dangerous area.
He's extraordinarily good at making the first contact, but he seems to get an awful lot of freedom to do it. There's O'Nien, the senior citizen in this young Hull City side, ancient at 30.
I'll tell you what, he's some player though, isn't he? I mean, every time you see him, bumped into him in the tunnel, and he's just always got a smile on his face, a proper character, and such a good player, versatile at that as well.
And look out, Lee, he's coming for you when he retires.
I know he will be.
Which is a long way off yet. I'm sure he's got plenty to contribute for a long, long time to this game of ours. Here he is on the ball again. And now Mepham. Roberts looking immediately for Wilson Isidore and asking a lot of him.
It's a nice run though, isn't it, from Wilson Isidore? He's just trying to break the lines, trying to squeeze someone up the pitch, and it's like this fact that he knows exactly where he wants the ball. It's just overcut the pass. Roberts, that's what I like to see, just taking things really stretching.
Ganged up on Charlie Hughes there, who's stepping a little bit into the unknown tonight in terms of real world. He's had one crack from the bench. Going to fit into a machine that hasn't always operated smoothly this season, but that's understandable. Huge turnover of players, very different style.
Well, that's the difference, isn't it? I think the huge turnover of players going out the door, and then almost trying to rebuild a squad, and it takes time. Listen, there's some great styles and philosophies that we're seeing with head coaches and managers coming into the EFL and the Championship. And this is one of them, really is, because you know, you get it wrong and it can almost look embarrassing, but you get it right and it looks fantastic, and that's where you've just got to find that niche of getting things quite right and doing the right things. It's great to see and keeping the ball and trying to play with a purpose, but as we've seen against Norwich, it can almost backfire as well.
Bellingham. O'Nien. Here's Mundell. Certainly come to the fore in a team that can get goals from anywhere, and they can produce passes of real quality as well, which Roberts deals with, but does not ultimately get the better of Cody Drame, who takes the game of risk to a worrisome extreme from Hull's point of view there. And in charge at the back there for Sunderland was Chris Mepham.
That's exactly what they've been told to do, isn't it, from a whole perspective, is that they don't just want to release a ball into space and have to sit back and try and get back into that formation where they're hard to break down. They want to play out from the back, even when it's tight and they're getting pressed.
Roberts able to breeze away from Puerta then. Rigg popping up in this wide area at the moment. Neil, O'Nien. Bellingham, it's Slick, it's Sirkin. Looking to carry the fight himself there. Unfortunate to lose his footing. And now a Hull counter may be on. There's Malin leading that particular charge. And Puerta with a chance to pick it up. And Hull with an opportunity to cause a bit of menace for themselves. It's Kamara. Puerta was lively. Balumi, who can certainly hit them with that left foot, which can be a lethal weapon, and not on that occasion. The last man standing there was Charlie Hughes, and he had to get it right.
Yeah, he did brilliant as well, because you can clearly see the way that they're going to set. They're just allowing Sunderland to have the ball in these early stages, sitting back in that solid formation, and when they go in numbers.
Decision is goal kick.
It looks a fabulous challenge, and it's one of them that you make sure you're getting everything right. I think Kamara did make not a meal of it, but it was a good challenge from Meppen.
Puerta herring after Neil, and pressure threatening to pay.
Both sides want to keep possession of the ball, don't they? They want to try to get the ball into them forward areas where they're going to cause problems. You can see that when they are camped in Sunderland, that they will be pressed.
Alfie Jones having to step across there and concede a corner. Luke O'Nien often with an insightful point to make. Always with a point to make. Sirkin, you can see standing in a little bit of space. It was coming his way again. For the second time, it was Meppen who arrived in that space and got the first contact. This is Malin. It's still on for them though, Puerta. And now Balumi. Through the challenge of Hume. Well, a shout in the middle. It was Malin who felt he was impeded. Simons beaten to the punch by Rigg.
There was all sorts going on there. It was a counter-attacking break. And Hull almost got in. Balumi did brilliant there. Hume just getting really tight and buying quite easily in the end. A shout for a penalty as well, I think.
Malin was arguing that point. This is Rigg. Roberts. Puerta with him. And Trey Hume. Oh, well played by Rigg and Hume. And it was Charlie Hughes in the way. It was curling away from goal, I think.
Oh, how good is that? And that young man, Chris Rigg, so confident at the moment, isn't he? Gets on the ball, have a bit of that through the legs, cheeky nutmeg. Super bit of movement as well from Trey Hume, taking that strike on. Great to watch.
Roberts. Oh, clever. Nearly moment, that.
Yeah, we've had two of them, haven't we? As soon as Patrick Roberts just comes in off that byline, I think he can have the option of having maybe an overlapping run, but he's clearly looking for that little cheeky run. So here's the door just trying to split the lines. Keep an eye on that one. That's two that he's tried.
Got a man for man here from Sunderland, which is often the case in these kind of situations. It was O'Nien stepped out to get a hold of Balumi. Many others who had locked on. This is Sirkin. Rig. Sirkin again. There's Coyle in the way. Roberts. Certainly a lot to go at here, isn't there? It's a very intriguing game, coupled with plenty of excitement, or certainly nearly moments anyway, rather than clear-cut chances.
Yeah, I mean, it really is, because you just see that it looks so well organised, don't they? I mean, out of possession, really getting back in and making it hard for Sunderland.
And Marvin Malin will feel maybe there's been some controversy too.
Yeah, well, this was the loony little dink in the back post. I'm not so sure that that'd be given as a slight tug, isn't that? And we see this all the time in games, week in, week out. I think it would have been a harsh one if it was given. I think maybe if the ball's going towards Malin and he's been pushed or nudged, it might be a little bit of a different scenario, but I'm not too sure that that would have been given.
I'd say it had a huge impact on the situation, did it? And one thing you would say is it a risk worth taking for Dennis Sirkin? Well, in fairness to Sunderland, it is a big conundrum in terms of the various ways Hull play out, but it looks like they're making it difficult for Hull to take their sort of usual routes, if you like, so far. Having to go a little longer there. And Sunderland do have a free kick. Rig, the victim.
Yeah, it is interesting, isn't it? Because I think any time that you kind of get any possession of the ball, if it comes in front, you know, they're really going squeezing up high, aren't they? This is a free kick on Rig. Blatant one there, but I just feel that Sunderland are really playing high up the pitch, particularly when you know that Pandora is going to get on the ball, and they are making it really difficult to get them balls through the lines, through them little gaps. And that's where they're having to maybe go a little bit longer this afternoon.
Mondler looking to get the better of Coyle, but ultimately he won't. But it does fall here. The Bellingham whistle gone already.
This is one of the reasons why we're really struggling to break the lines of this well-organised Sunderland side. They're very high up the pitch, really starting on that halfway line, but it's really compacting that midfield. No one's been able to get on it in midfield, and that's why you see one of the centre-halves maybe just coming out that defensive line for Hull City.
There's Drame. Kamara. Here is Balumi. He's got a couple of goals to his name. A difficult debut against Sheffield United. He also made a very important contribution in that victory against Stoke, which was the launch pad, important run off the ball and one of the goals, which maybe escaped the gaze of most. He's big talent.
Yeah, very big talent. Lots of noise coming out the place about him as well, and sometimes know, you need a few games just to get you that lift and that spark and belief. Confidence is huge, isn't it? And playing in this style as well, in particular. Just trying to weigh up this first 16 minutes or so, and it feels like Sunderland, you have an attack, and Sunderland will defend, you have an attack, or it just feels that it's one of them, but who's going to be the better in the ball and who's going to be the one that's going to carve an opportunity open?
The challenge almost fell kindly, and Isidore will have a strike, which never really was full of venom.
Well, nearly right on cue, wasn't it? That was. And it didn't have an awful lot of power on the strike. I think he's just had to adjust. Unfortunate, but that's where he likes to be, in and around that 18-yard box.
He might be the next in line to be that number 9 that Sunderland have been looking for a fair old while now. But I mean, Curtis mentioned his versatility. He played from the flank a lot in his time at Lokomotiv Moscow, so he can fit in a few areas. Indeed, he came on in one of the matches in a wide position this season.
He puts himself about that, and that's a good thing. You want the centre forward. Listen, they needed, I felt, more of a focal point. There was a lot depended on. Jack Hart wasn't there for goals in particular.
Joe Bellingham was playing as their central striker of their portions of last season.
Yeah, and that I think that will suit Joe playing in that midfield, because watching the seasons unfolded for Sunderland, that he is getting, I know he's playing in that central area, but he's getting advanced, he's getting on some really key positions on the edge of the box. Quite easily have had a few goals already this season.
Trey Hume determined to get Sunderland on the front foot, but out of play. Roberts is in a bit of trouble here.
A slight collision. I don't know if it's where he's fell awkwardly or it's they've gone up for the challenge and he's just had a little knock on the side of the head.
Hume involved again. This is 09. Neil. Isidore. He's fouled, and experienced referee Robert Madley clearly feeling that there was no great advantage for Sunderland there, who'd maintained possession.
Another one that's a slight collision. I think it's just the turn as he moves away. He just collides, doesn't he? Interesting just watching bits of movement in that forward area with Sunderland and Chris Rigg. He's trying to drag Drame over into a more central role. There's so much space on this right-hand side for Patrick Roberts. That's their go-to at the moment, but it's a big diagonal pass.
Epham meets it once again, and 09 is there. Really succeeded in getting it under control, and Bellumi can hope to spring the trap.
Yeah, I felt that he missed the opportunity, didn't he, Luke 09? I think maybe it's one of them, it's congested, have a strike. I don't know where it's going to go.
Kamara's ball. Bellingham in a bit of a tight spot there, and Hume completing the job. But Hull able to build again. This is Charlie Hughes. Player they pursued with some vigour. Finally prized him away from Wigan Athletic.
You can see why, can't you? I mean, he's stepped into the team today and he hasn't looked out of place at all.
More determination there from Trey Hughes. He's got 4 up with him here. It's Charlie Hughes who did get a telling touch, and Pandor able to gather it. Sirkin, as Bloomy chased, able to guide it back to safety from his point of view.
I thought he was going to go there. It was just trying to figure out who's he's got to chase down and whether he can get a touch of the ball.
A real sense of adventure shown here by Luke O'Nien.
It's a brilliant run from Luke O'Nien. He really is. Look where he comes from here. I mean, he's picking up positions from that defence and driving into the 18-yard box where he's just trying to disrupt Hull City.
He's one of their 10 championship goal scorers this season, which is an impressive total, notched in their shellacking of Sheffield Wednesday in front of our cameras. As did Dennis Sirkin, who's actually moved into the crowd this time, and it's Mepham who's taken up his usual role. And Sirkin, Coyle got there quickly. Drame was desperate to do so as well.
I actually think he should do a little bit better here, particularly being on his favoured left foot. There's no rushes. There's that option on the edge of the box. It's congested, it's tight, but listen, I think if he keeps his head down and gets his laces through it, it's a good opportunity there for Dennis Sirkin.
So Roberts will deliver this time, and both O'Nien and Mepham poised on the edge. And Charlie Hughes with a meaty forehead on that.
Yeah, it's a good header at that near post. He is just protecting anything that might come beyond. I feel like it's been a real cagey start to the game.
Well, it's sort of like a lot's happened, but not a lot's happened, if you see what I mean.
Yes, it does. It does feel that way. Just, I think it's waiting for something to happen, Dan. That's what it feels like.
Neil. Hume out now to Roberts. Kind of areas he wouldn't mind getting into to unleash the left foot. This is Rigg. There's Gustavo Puerta. Up to Bedia, who has seen little of it, but he's done really well here. And the space Baloumi's got. Kamara's surely got to see him. Well, that an opportunity missed.
Big opportunity. I think he's just caught in two minds whether to play Denny or Baloumi, isn't it?
Well, Baloumi on the far side, a picture of disappointment.
Yeah, well, look at the counter-attacking break. It's absolutely brilliant, isn't it? Because Bedia really starts, and he hasn't had a lot to do, but is he trying to pick out that little pass for Bedia to come on and hit that, or is that pass for Baloumi? I think he's caught in two there for me. He's either got to make that decision to play Baloumi in early doors. He's got to make sure he gets to his destination, and that's Bedia that's coming into the box, which I felt was a real good opportunity for Hull.
See Puerta there doing the kind of job that Chris Rigg does for Sunderland. Mepham feeling the heat here. Where's my way out? Trey Hughes. Well, that was quite a hefty bite there from Cody Drame.
Yeah, it was, but how good was it from Chris Mepham? Just really composed, wasn't it? Just shows when you've got an experienced head quality, don't panic. And that's what happens usually. You clear your lines up, you end up winning yourself and your team a foul.
Actually did both there, didn't they?
Foul or foul.
hit the jackpot. This is Rigg with a bit of space. On for Roberts. Roberts again. And Simon's able to pick it up and look to release Bellumi. Race on. And ultimately, battle lines drawn, but battle won by Chris Mepham.
Yeah, again, excellent. Really witnessing the danger. I'll tell you what, though, Wolves do look really dangerous on that quick turnover, don't they?
Roberts has got loads of room here. It's not something you've been able to say too often, and all into a danger area. Panda spreading that big frame of his.
Yeah, good, big, strong foot, wasn't it, from Panda? Just as Hull City got on the attack, they turned things over very quickly. Sunderland, pretty exposed at the time, just slows everything down. I just thought that might favour Hull City, but again, Panda comes to the rescue with that big toe away from goal.
Bedia, Bellumi, Puerta breaking, Bedia up with him. And briefly a wrestling match, and Bedia is penalised.
I mean, it's brilliant play from Hull, it really is, and Bedia at the heart of that. Clever little pass out wide to Bellumi, and then he wants more on that pass so he can go and run onto that. Probably has got the beating of Chris Mepham, but it's just too short, and it's an experience of Mepham yet again, just getting his body across. This Bedia was always going to end up in a foul with it, because it's a battle, it's trying to get control of that ball, but poor pass from Bellumi. It's got to be in front of him for him to run onto that.
Oh, a little hat-trick of excellent defensive contributions from Chris Mepham. He's not, you know, really well into his senior years as a footballer, but comparatively speaking, in this side, he's an old head, isn't he, at 26?
Yeah, he certainly is. I think he shows that as well.
This is 09. Now Neil. Oh, 09 again. Oof. Was onto it quickly there, Gustavo Puerta. This is Bedia. In the end, too much of an opportunity given there to Chris Mepham to step in.
And again, just witnessing the danger of. You have to be careful, Sunderland do, because that is certainly the outlet, and it's quick. It's almost very good.
But Roberts proving an outlet here for Sunderland again. Rigg. Now Mundle. Bellingham. Sirkin. Neil. 09. Now Hume. Roberts. Rigg. Hume. Rigg again. Spell of controlled possession here from Sunderland. Can they find that gap to really exploit? Louis Coyle, it's a losing battle on this occasion. But, well, the cross was not quite what he wished for. He has found Patrick Roberts, who can keep things alive. In there by Hume, the head of Hughes. And now 09. Bellingham's got a bit of room here, but plenty of time and enough air on the ball for Panda to claim that with a great deal of comfort.
Honestly, I've been so impressed with the way Hull City have got back into a solid formation and looked really comfortable. And then I know that Sunderland have had plenty of the ball. instigate things, but they have been brilliant out of possession. Hull.
And left back becomes an inside right. There we go, it's Drame. Belumi, this is what he likes to do. We go on the outside this time. Loves to play that role as an inverted winger, playing on the right, a left-footed player. Quite come off for him on this occasion as Isidore tackles at the other end, but Hughes has the measure of it, and more than that, and is then felled by Bellingham.
I'll tell you what, well, I must say the two centre-halves for Sunderland and Hull have been really stand out, and Charlie Hughes does brilliant here because he's very isolated there, 1v1, but uses his strength and keeps control of the ball. You might say it might not have been a foul, but same with Mepham, hasn't he? He's mopped up when things have looked quite dangerous.
He's had an excellent afternoon so far, Charlie Hughes, and you joined Wigan as a 14-year-old, but it should be mentioned that he spent some time in the academies of both Manchester City and Liverpool.
Some good stock then.
Just like yourself. So we're at the end of a weekend and we're on the cusp of a very busy championship midweek. Our main feature on Tuesday night comes from West London, Queen's Park Rangers against Coventry City, and plenty for you via Sky Sports Plus as well. On Wednesday, it's Middlesbrough against Sheffield United, who suffered their first defeat. So Tuesday, 6 additional live matches. The pick, I might argue, would be Leeds United against Watford, and 4 more championship games on Wednesday night. Hull Burnley, Sunderland in action at Luton. Blackburn West Brom, another one that certainly may be worth your time. This is 09. Just a little short by Mundell, and Bedia can steal it. Belumi, Bedia again, promise here. Belumi, that's useful. Oh. Well, file that under almost.
So close. I mean, the breakaway from Bedia again. He was quiet at the start, but what he's been asked to do is really work whoever's in the back line, and it's a clever pass here. Belumi just feeding it back, maybe just be a bit more direct and get that sharp test. Patterson in goal. This is a clever ball, by the way, as well, isn't it? It's just overcooked for Porter to get any form of touch or head on that back towards goal. So many nearly moments.
There's a sense of real ease in the way Belumi played a high tariff cross in there. His back catalogue of goals, by the way, is well worth anybody's time with that left foot of his. And he also has a really good leap, times him really well coming in at the back post. This is Mundell, now Bellingham. Roberts now, that's just given Drame an opportunity. And there was no doubt he was in the mood to exploit it. The amber and black cavalry a little slow to come on that occasion for once.
Yeah, brilliant. He's been outstanding as well. Drame, I think, keeps showing Patrick Roberts. He keeps pushing to try and go by him, and he hasn't really got any change out of him whatsoever, but as we've seen there, he's got the energy to get forward as well. lacked the support, didn't he?
He's ousted not inconsiderable talents Ryan Giles from this team, who's been one of the eye-catching players of recent years in the Championship. I suppose it does give you a different aspect in the left-back position, doesn't it, Drame? You'd normally feel as though he's more comfortable on the other side.
Yeah, for sure. I think it might just suit him, though, with... See, Richard Roberts wants to get on that left foot, doesn't he? But he's been excellent up to now.
The headline-grabbing stuff, but diligent defensive work there from Joe Bellingham. Matched by Sirkin, off Coyle. One of the reasons, well, the reason why Drame's on the left side of that back four is the fact that there's that fierce competitor on the other side, Louis Coyle, who helped set the standards here. But they have a common link, don't they, with Leeds United on their CVs.
Let's just have a look at these match stats and just look at the on target. The goalkeeper really having anything to do. I think the save Pandor with the feet was the one that was the one on target. All that, as we know, and we've seen that Sunderland have had lots of ball. Both sides pretty much cancelling each other. I think Paul clearly playing a lot more of a deeper role and trying to work that counter-attack, and do look threatening.
It's Hume now to Rig. Roberts. A lot of the ball in good areas, but you have to give credit that Hull haven't given him any real latitude.
No, not at all. Not at all, and it's a double up in wide areas. I mean, I think you can see that Drame, Kamara coming back and they're helping each other out, and that's why the counter-attack and Betty has been so important for them, hasn't he? He's either getting a hold of the ball or he's trying to feed someone that's coming in to a wide area or giving him that support for possession. But defensively, they've looked so compact. It just doesn't seem to be a way in at all.
This is Coyle on the rampage. And he's down in search of a free kick. Simons, Kamara, came off Hume. Rig, excellent. And this is Mundell with a bit of space to run into. And it's notable that this would have been a scenario where Hull might have been exposed a few weeks ago, and they certainly are not.
Well, they were, weren't they, against Norwich? I mean, yes, they were chasing the game, but they were so wide open. There was chance after chance, but I'm just watching the way they reset back into a defensive back four. It's a must, it really is, to stop conceding goals, because we've just seen Louis Coyle run the pretty much length of the pitch, get himself into the 18-yard box.
Searching ball, not a lot of takers there. He's into a very inviting area.
Well, you get yourself in good areas, good positions to put delivery in. I know that they want to play them little triangles in and around the box, but that's where you want your centre forward, don't you? Anywhere in a more central area where you can have a target to hit, and that's where Isidore should be.
It's quite the fight going on there between Badir and Mepham. He's carrying the fight to a few others here, the Hull striker. Kamara, Simons. And the cry of shoot keeps going up. Possibly easier said. And in this instance, you kind of got a similar challenge for Hull that Sunderland have been set in much of the game. There's not a lot to... not a lot of gaps to exploit.
They've both been really well organised. I mean, yes, I've been talking about, well, Hull up there, the home side, and they're playing probably a little bit of a different style, aren't they? Volta. Sunderland the same, you know, they're trying to keep hold of the ball and they're trying to work them areas.
Both very interesting characters, the two head coaches, aren't they? I mean, Tim Walter's sort of the my way or the highway type, while Régis Lebris takes on the air of the favourite teacher. He's a great listener in his press conferences, full of insight. One thing that he chose not to reveal was where he had been working in terms of improving the defensive side of their game. And they have made an addition to their coaching staff in recent days, who at the moment at least will primarily work on that aspect. Sunderland quickly taken free kick. Bellingham. Neil. I think the referee's press is certainly working. This is Mundle. Here's Bellingham. Mundle again. Unsurprisingly, they look for Roberts. Can he unlock the door? Slightly different wavelengths there. That's a good steal by O'Nien. And there was space for Bellingham. And that's not a clever thing to do, affording that kind of opportunity.
Not in them areas. I've seen what he can do from that distance. Joe Bellingham, I thought he just got in the way of O'Nien, but credit, he just takes the ball off O'Nien. He knows, got one thing on his mind, hard and low. Fractions away from hitting the target.
Not something we're going to see a lot of today. Here's Charlie Hughes. And that's a foul by Patrick Roberts. And the word we're getting is that there will be no added time at the end of this first half.
Is that first for you, Dan?
It's been a while, Lee. Let me think, I'll give you date and time. Oh, and Puerta could be in, and he's saying that Mepham handled it. Tim Walter's certainly saying that as well.
I think they're convinced, aren't they? He's outside the box anyway, but he does certainly get a hand on that.
Well, a half that has not produced much in the way of clear-cut opportunities ends in controversy, and Tim Walter is adamant that his team should at least have had a free kick in a very promising position. As Chris Mepham handled the ball, and well, they may have seen that as a situation that could have resulted in serious sanction for Mepham as well, with a goal-scoring opportunity at stake. So, a controversial end to a half that's certainly been an interesting watch without there being a great deal of real goal-mouth action. At the break here, it's Hull City 0, Sunderland 0. Yes, thank you, Jules. We will do our best. Not that we have much control over the matter. Hull going through their usual second half preparations. And I have to say, Lee, you watched quite a bit of Hull City this season, and that first half seemed to me to be a real step forward.
I thought so. I mean, as you said, Dan, I've watched them a fair bit, and I just feel that they look really well drilled, don't they? I mean, there's been changes made, and I seen them at the start of the season and thought if they continue playing or trying to play this way, that they're going to end up in trouble. But they've stuck to a certain style, a method. But I mean, today I've been so impressed with the way they've got back into a defensive structure, particularly, you know, when they've gone on the counter-attack. They haven't left themselves as exposed as what I've seen. And it's a learning curve. It's, you know, new traditions, obviously new theories. You do feel that if they can get all these certain things right, I tell you what, they've got enough quality out there to really compete.
Sunderland have had a lot of the ball in good areas. I don't know, there's just been a greater sense of menace in the air when Hull have countered.
Yeah, they've looked the more dangerous.
So here we go then. Sunderland in their change strip today. And well, surprised that the still top scorers in the division have not managed to find a way through just yet. Scored in all 9 leading up to this. And have never exceeded 19 points or its equivalent. If you go back to the days of 2 points for a win at this point in the season, it's joint best ever start at this level in that respect. And whenever they've achieved a similar mark in the past, they have achieved promotion.
Yeah, they're a side I've always looked at, and particularly since coming into the Championship, Sunderland, you know, there's been times where I just felt that they're so impressive. I mean, the football club alone, the support, you do feel this young, talented squad that they have. I think I touched on it pre-match, is that just getting the few right fundamentals drilled into them, I think they'll be definitely in the mix-up this season. But it's a long season, as we know, in the Championship.
Bedia unhappy with the end decision there. Came out with the ball, but possibly Mr. Madley is concerned with what went on a little earlier. I was just seeing whether Sunderland might end up with a ball a little further up the pitch. Hume up towards Wilson Isidore. It's forward by Hughes. Mepham. Well, there's a keen sense of irony in the stands. And his what appeared certainly to be a handball. I'm sure the chief topic of conversation on the concourses at half-time.
A few unhappy people around the stadium, particularly our own fans, and Tim Walter was not happy one bit, was he? You can understand why.
Pandor's been pretty comfortable, really. All at his feet.
Yeah. I mean, again, he's having a great season, is he? I'll say it again, you know, when you're playing this system and the style, you have to have some good feet back there. It's the new age of football, isn't it? Having a goalkeeper that can be good with his feet and good with his hands, and he's certainly good at both.
Well, he twice made the team of the season in the Eredivisie, which is a great breeding ground. Playing for, or rather team of the month, I should say, playing for Fortuna Sittard. Bellumi. Malin. He's got him behind here. And Patterson having to spring into action with a degree of urgency.
It's the first time he's really been called upon, isn't it? I mean, it's crazy to say that because he's not really threatening going forward, but it's a tester to start with. A ball that deflects into his hands.
A good number around the stadium helping Cody Drame out with the alarm sounded. This is Charlie Hughes.
Really interesting to see if we do see a goal here this afternoon, is that how the game actually unfolds. I know we've set out all at times of it looks so wide open. They've come, well, they're here with a certain game plan, aren't they, against Sunderland? And will that change if the scoreline changes? It'll be interesting to see.
Trey Hume foxed. Gustavo Puerta. Just words.
You can see why he's in the team. I like him, I do. I think get him involved in more games. He's got great feet and great ability, and he's got a bit of a bite about him as well, hasn't he? I know he just gets caught there by Trey Hume, but he certainly wants to keep an eye on.
Got some glimpses at Leverkusen last year, which I think says it all, really. In that company, Bellumi under pressure. He shakes his head, but it was a worthy effort.
It was well worthy. And this is excellent from Louis Coyle, getting forward. I haven't seen much of that in this game, and I think that slight little nudge from Bellingham might just do enough to force him on his heels a bit, but it's a super strike from Bellumi. As you said, well worthy of taking that attempt at goal on.
Well, I've mentioned it before today, but his left foot, well, it's capable of moments of finesse, and he can also bring the thunder. I've not seen a lot of Charlie Hughes wandering like that.
I think that was the point that made in that first half, is because they can't get through that midfield area. That did it a couple of times in the first half where he was just trying to maybe disrupt that area where Sunderland have lost a high block on, haven't they?
Coyle, Malin. Played on by Kamara for Puerta. Kamara will pick up the pieces. Attempted a shirt pull from Hume. Bedia works the space! And as close as we've come, and it was mighty close.
What a strike.
Well, the post was rattling for quite a while after that. A thunderous strike from Bedia. And close as either side have come to breaking the deadlock.
Yeah, really close. We'll see. Kamara picks the pieces up. Little deflection, but as soon as he works that little position, puts 09 down. And then I'm just expecting it to nestle. Could he have maybe caressed that rather than literally try and take the stitching off the ball, but it's a super strike, it really is.
He's in there again, and Mepham hasn't completely attended to the situation. Well, he's forced a corner this time.
Yeah, another one that I've been impressed with. And when you're playing up there on your own, you have to work anything that's thrown at you, and he's done so. First half, and he's had that brilliant chance moments ago where I think he'll feel he should have scored.
Sacrificed a bit of control for giving it the hammer, really. This could be interesting, although it worked better in theory than practice. Just the old Beckham Scholes routine flashes through your mind. And Sirkin. Charlie Hughes' head. There's Alfie Jones. Alfie Jones. That's Coyle, Bellumi. Hull in the ascendancy. Oh, that's smart from Bellumi, on by Malin. And 09 feeling the heat.
So he was excited this second half brilliantly, Hull. I really feel that they're asking more questions. That possession has certainly lifted, hasn't it? 74%. And there's a real purpose in their play.
Foul there by Kamara on Trey Hume. Well, full of the joys at the moment. Will have enjoyed and clearly has made very good use of their sunshine spell in Turkey. And in fairness, we've got a glorious day now here in East Yorkshire as well.
A bit more Kamindi though, isn't it?
Nanu, Nanu. I think we may have to put out an explainer for anyone under 50 there, possibly. There we are. Perhaps later. Here's 09. Bellingham. Which we both are, I think. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay, fine.
No.
Yeah.
I didn't want to burst the bubble there.
Anyway, moving on. Here's 09. Dan Neil not showing his usual composure there. Louis Coyle now for Hull City. Just a little drop in the tempo. Trying to get Bellumi away. He had just strayed offside. Possibly hoping for it to come a little sooner. Well, his approach in his time has kind of almost brought success, the success they were looking for at the clubs he's managed, notably Hamburg, the biggest, Hachouni Lichar, bringing him in to provide a more entertaining style. And it has to be said, there have been plenty of occasions where they've proved the opposition's most creative player, but it has certainly been eventful.
I think you come with a style and a philosophy that the shackles are off, and he said he's sticking with what he believes in. And it's pretty evident of that. Yes, there are going to be mistakes along the way, but you get used to it, you work on it day to day, And I've got to say, I've been really impressed from what I've seen from the start of the season up to now. They've progressed, and there's always a learning curve, isn't there, what you can do. You can still play that style and have that philosophy, but you know that you have to be good defensively as well, and that's what's really starting to stand out for me.
For a coach anyway, now it does seem that having an identity, a distinct style of football is sometimes more important than your actual previous achievements. This is Mundle. Roberts, combination that nearly worked. Roberts, though, fleet of foot. And Simons, the key man in the way. Simons says no.
That's a block. Absolute brilliant. And I thought that was possibly going to be the moment. Little magic. Feet from Roberts in the box here. Yeah, just open up. He stands big, doesn't he? Simons, easy to go close or just maybe go one side. He stands big, and it's a real big block in the end.
Bedia away from 09. Not away from Sirkin. Simons again with another important contribution, following swiftly on from that vital block.
Well, he's the protector there, isn't he? He's just sitting in. They've got that 4-1-4-1, if you like, and he's the one that's just having that bit protection to the centre halves. Just in there, just anything that's coming inside, he's there to put that block on.
09. Well, was certainly suggesting it came off Mundle there. Whether that was out of conviction or hope, I'm not sure. Mundle. Well, falls kindly for it. Well, not quite, because it was Simons there again. Did enough there.
Key role, real big role he's playing there.
But Hull can open them up here. Sirkin has to get it right, and in the end, in his determination to win it, it almost fell terribly unkindly for him. Patterson having to react.
Well, it certainly wasn't one of them balloomy rockets, was it, that we've seen in the past. It's one of them that could have been an unbelievable goal, because Sirkin does well to defend it, but tell you what, it does come off him at pace. Oh, it's a massive save from Patterson.
Well, Malin was being tightly marked there by the referee, and now the counter's on. And referee Madley has played his part in this. Isidore leading the Sunderland charge! Beautiful finish! But uproar at the MKM Stadium. And Alfie Jones saying, well, you played your part in that. He's been booked as a result. But Sunderland do not care. They have taken full advantage of the opportunity. That is extraordinary.
Unbelievable, unbelievable. But let's talk about the goal, because this isn't a goal you'll see every week. You can see that there's an issue, a problem there with the referee, but let's give credit to Wilson Isidore, and Cody Drummond does everything he can, but this is truly brilliant. Brilliant. This is almost the length of the pitch. Just watch Wilson Isidore there. He knows that he's going to get there. Then he has to compose himself, touch, takes it into the box, recompose, and talk me through that little dink. It's exquisite. What a goal that is. Wow. The boos are cheering for obvious reasons. What a goal.
Well, a yellow card there for Julian Hübner on the Hull bench. I mean, he may make the argument as to how important his intervention was, because Wilson Isidore's got to run a long way. He's kept his head quite magnificently, but I don't think I've ever seen quite an incident like that before.
Well, I definitely haven't. Like you said, it's not like he's had to move 3, 4 yards, 5, 10 yards even. He's run the length of the pitch and composed himself with an elegant finish. Phenomenal.
Liam Miller replacing Abu Kamara. So 2 yellow cards in all that. Certainly that I saw. Alfie Jones went into the book initially because he was straight to the referee and saying, well, you've got an assist there, ref. I mean, it's unfortunate, but there was a moment in the first half where he was right up with play and got in the way of a Sunderland player, I think.
That's the thing, isn't it? I mean,
he's certainly up with play.
Oh, I mean, it's just an unbelievable incident, isn't it? You know, it really is. And I think if you're on the receiving end of it, you are going to be furious. There's no doubt of it, and you can feel why. All feel aggrieved. As we said, I mean, the length, the pitch that Isidore's carried the ball.
Hughes. In a sense, in a way, the circumstances are a little different as Casey Palmer gets a briefing there from Filip Topalovic, another of Tim Walter's assistants. It's kind of a familiar story for Hull, conceding that type of goal.
Yeah, it is, but I think when you're in the forward areas, and listen, the way it's happened is just quite phenomenal. You know, I mean, it's all over the place, isn't it? But I think it's just the fact that it's a 1v1 battle. But yes, you do feel that that's the way that they have conceded goals. I think you can arguably say that should it stand with the position and the way it happened, but some distance to cover.
Hull have got to keep their heads because there's a real sense of uproar around the stadium.
Well, they have to, and you know what? They've been the better side in this second half, there's no doubt, and they've really asked more of a question. So they have to recompose, they have to go again, don't they? I said this will be the interesting factor. What do they do now?
Naylam. Some determination by Mundell, and he's adjudged to a foul. Louis Coyle. Ball moving. But it does afford I think he's expressing his opinion quite clearly there. Apologies to any lip readers watching. Going to see a couple of Hull changes. And the departure of Naylam and impressive debutant Puerta. The gaps filled by Ruben Slater and Casey Palmer. So it's a central midfield switch. Slater. Quickly on with it, Balumi. Mundell. Determinedly won by the fresh Palmer, but that determination matched by Mundell. This is Rigg. Roberts taking a different route. Flashed over Coyle's head. Oh no, he got a touch.
Yeah, it's the first real time that we've seen Patrick Roberts really going down the outside. He wants to come in on the left, and he's been showing to go down that outside, and that time he did.
Well, there's Julian Hübner, who came racing to the edge of the technical area, and understandably, given the circumstances of a goal, had a few choice words to say. He's yellow carded for that.
Let's not forget about the incident on the stroke of half-time, where it should have been a handball and a possible sending off as well. So I think it's mounting up, isn't it? And that's why City fans are furious, along with the coaching staff.
Well, he's got in the way again. It's the third time in the game this has happened, and this time he clearly does impede Dan Neil, so the game has to restart with a drop ball.
It's a hat-trick.
I think we have to commend Mr. Madley that he's keeping up with play absolutely magnificently today.
He definitely is.
But I mean, just to see it once would be a surprise. To see it 3 times, well. Balumi, that's a cracker. Here's Miller.
What a pass that is from Balumi. Big switch, expect a lot better from Miller on that left side. His quality.
Well, slightly obscured at present, but a familiar face in these parts, Aaron Connolly, getting the final, or certainly close to final briefing from Alessandro Barcarini. Bounces through beyond Roberts as Sunderland took a direct approach. Coyle. Slightly more awkward for Pandor, but only slightly. That's just the first hint, really, of them being loose at the back.
Just a little bit. Drame has to tidy things up. Just need to recompose, don't they, Hull?
Excellent thing. They've done so much good work today. But Wilson Isidore embodying composure in the moment that is the difference between the two sides. His remaining time in the game will be short. He is the player that Aaron Connolly will replace, we gather. Simons, who's had an impressive second half, looked down the central route when Miller was saying, well, what about me?
I'll tell you what, if he gets the pass right, it's the right choice, but I think the safe approach is to go out to Miller, but again, it's just short, isn't it, to Bedier. Wants it straight in front of him where he can open his legs and 1v1 against Patterson. Great play as well from Simons.
It's a product of Chelsea. So the Sunderland change is happening, and well, it's a moment of added significance because Aaron Connolly has taken the very brave step of opening up during the course of the international period about his personal struggles with alcohol since he burst onto the scene so dramatically at Brighton, and I know in his time here at Hull, where he enjoyed some very, very good moments on the field, he benefited hugely from the magnificent support provided by Liam Rosenior and his team. He's not getting the warmest of welcomes, which is a shame. But I suppose that is a sign of respect. They know what he can do.
Oh, yeah, definitely. He's a talent, and as you said, being brave talking's massive, it really is. And if he finds his way back to his anywhere near his best and what he does best, and that's scoring goals.
He's got a touch of the throwback about him, hasn't he, in terms of his style, which is always an enjoyable feature for myself. A Sunderland debut. Bellumi might get a bit of change out of this situation. It's a tidy touch from Slater. This is Miller.
He certainly can make things happen. Ian Miller. Him on the ball, I think left and right, they've got a lot of attacking options on the pitch. And Slater likes to get forward too. Casey Palmer. Got to go for it.
Well, a different routine. Slater. Benia!
He's been a threat. He's been the one that's been the likely one to go and get that Hull's goal. Just peels off this back post, and it's difficult, it really is, because he's got challenges in and around. He's got Bellingham, he's got to do everything perfect to beat Patterson from there.
Won by Jones. Slater, Benia involved and Bellumi involved, and Palmer the target. Simons. Slater to drive it across that face of goal. Miller. Simons. He gave the public what they wanted.
He took the strike on, didn't he? Let's have another look at this. I mean, I know it's infuriated a lot of people, and Madley, he just steps out of the way, doesn't he? So, you know, if it touches him, you can understand the ball has to stop. It's recalled, but talk me through this finish, Dan. It's unbelievable. It really is. I think when you get to that stage of the pitch and you've done all that work and you've still got to do a little bit more to put the icing on the cake, that is cheeky.
Well, it's a touch of class. Combination of fabulous athleticism and great finesse.
It's really good, really good. Now he can put his feet up, can't he?
And from a technical point of view, obviously, Mr. Madley has gone out of the way. He hasn't actually blocked the ball. He hasn't actually made sufficient contact with the player to really...
I think that's the thing, isn't it? I think, you know, I know there's going to be an argument, but I don't feel like he's jumped out the way. I would let it run through his legs. He stepped out the way. And we've touched on the distance. Isadore's travelled to go and finish off a marvellous goal.
Alfie Jones. This is Cody Drame to Liam Miller. Palmer. That's a challenge by Alfie Jones that is deemed a foul on Connolly. Chris Rigg. Roberts involved again. This is Mundell. Oh, and a teaser, and there's Rigg! Well, the celebrations had momentarily begun in that far corner where the Sunderland fans are gathered.
No surprise as well, because Mundell just brilliant here, and I think when it falls to the boy in form, I'm thinking that's goal bound, it's side netting, but to just stretch over to try and guide it towards goal. Had a quiet afternoon, hasn't he, the young man, but it's always about having possession of the ball. It's one of the clever bits of movement that he possesses.
A little loose by Simons. And now here's Joe Bellingham. Slater and now Drame for Hull City. Get some wind in their sails again. So Hume getting a distinctive roar of acclaim from his supporters at the other end of the ground. That's a robust piece of defending. Alan Brown is preparing to come on for Sunderland. Big tests keep coming for Hull. Significant week with Burnley, the next visitors. Burnley that Sunderland are seeking to depose at the top of the table with victory. Roberts. This is Liam Miller. And the assistant referee with a furious flag. It is a foul. An apologetic pat from Pat. But it's not enough to convince the referee that it's not worthy of a yellow card.
It's great feat, isn't it? He just literally grabs him round the neck and pulls him to the ground. It's there's no doubt it's a yellow card.
And that was Patrick Roberts' last act of the game. And to the dismay of a great number, he's taking a more circuitous route off the pitch. Barely a few yards from the touchline on the other side. Alan Brown, player of vast experience and know-how. A refreshing of the ranks here, and a distinct statement of attacking intent with Charlie Hughes centre defender off. Striker on in João Pedro, the free agent. They have recruited. Xavier Simons, who's made some very important contributions today, being replaced by Oscar Zambrano. He has been a more common starter in that position. Expect now that, I suppose, Miller and Balumi will act as wing-backs effectively. Slater making inroads. No one in black and amber in that area.
That's a brilliant ball as well. That's one where I always like to see a ball played into.
Miller couldn't quite get his timing right, I don't think.
It's a real big chance that was for City. Both centre-forwards on the pitch. And Pedro just coming on. Lydia's still in there, but making identical runs, really. You need one of the midfield runners making sure that they're ringing the penalty spot. That would have been an easy side foot into the goal, really, you would have said.
Making a burst here, which we weren't ultimately able to exploit there. This is Coyle, loose, Mundle, Brown, Sirkin, Alan Brown. Bellingham, Neil, Connolly. Rig is offside.
And they worked brilliantly. Joe Bellingham, fantastic pass into that central area. So Connolly just hung on to it a little bit too long.
That's forward by Bellingham. Foul by Jones on Connolly. Have been at close quarters on many an occasion. So much positive to say, but Sunderland have kept them out, and they have scored a goal, which is a familiar theme for them. Rig. He goes down, and there's no great complaint, or any complaint indeed, even a hint of it from the player himself.
Great skill. Great skill. Cheeky Megs here. Drama, and then there's a shout for a penalty free kick. It's definitely not. Excellent defending for me.
Slater, Balumi. Sirkin was just saying that Slater had sent him tumbling there. That's what he's saying to the assistant referee. I don't think it's going to be the burning issue at the end of the game somehow.
You think so?
Patterson, a man of leisure, as a goalkeeper in a team that's leading in a very significant game. Will tend to be Brown. Regan Slater. Balumi. the first time sweep. Coyle with the tussle with Aaron Connolly. Sunderland dropping into something akin to a back five with Dan Neil stepping back again.
Well, they definitely are, but who are to get back into this game? They've got the two strikers on the pitch. They need to get the ball into wide areas and supply into the front men, or anything that can bounce into the front two. They'll try and break this back five down, haven't they? They've pretty clearly gone into a real solid unit, Sunderland.
We're into a minimum of 4 added minutes. This is Zambrano. Miller. Palmer. Miller. Miller. Bedia. Coyle thinks about the hit, and 09 was the man who felt just how powerful it was. Offside flag up.
Really important block, wasn't it, from Luca 9? Strike from Louis Coyle. Really hits it well.
Yep. Tim Walter suggesting alternative options there.
I think he'll be frustrated, won't he? I think, you know, you look at the whole aspect of the game. Obviously the penalty, well, the sending off incident just on the short half-time, what could have been. Obviously the complaint, Madley got in the way, it wasn't. That's just the way it is. He didn't touch the ball, but, I mean, to get beat by an unbelievable goal. You feel that you've been in the game long enough and developed good moments in the game.
Mundell heading for the corner, I would suspect. This is Cody Drame. I've not really seen Hull hammering away since they've conceded. It seems to have knocked a little bit out of them. This is Slater. Bellumi. Searching cross. Joao Pedro, they really ganged up on him there, but it is a corner.
Yeah, big moment. Big moment. And here comes and throwing everyone forward, as you'd expect.
Well, he's not difficult to spot, but he might be difficult to mark. Ivo Pandor, the goalkeeper, right in the thick of this. It is beyond him, but not Joao Pedro.
Someone will be happy with that. Pedro, header over the bar. It's always a difficult one to execute as well for the centre forward. It's just the sheer frustration. I've been impressed with all this afternoon. I really have. They've come on leaps and bounds, and if they can continue doing what they've done along periods of this game, I think, why shouldn't they be in the mix of things?
Well, it's been a performance that's shown the potential, certainly. You're looking back at controversies involving a referee in a similar situation. There was a notable tale years and years ago where a referee deflected a shot that was going wide past the great Gordon Banks at Anfield, and it was a perfectly legal goal. In those days, the referee was, in those circumstances, regarded as a part of the playing surface, Lee.
Well, we've got one of our guests in studio. What about the Darren Bent goal?
I was there, as they say. Sunderland return to the top of the championship table, and to say the least, it's come as a result of one of the most extraordinary goals we'll see this season. magnificent from Wilson Isidore's point of view, who had a lot of work to do after the initial problem, as Tim Walter would see it, but controversial from Hull's perspective, given the proximity of referee Robert Madley to Marvin Malem when he had a chance potentially to get it under control and shoot. Sunderland broke and stung Hull City on the counter, and that the decisive moment. And Tim Walter is certainly going to have plenty to say about that. The law is on the referee's side, but you won't see that every day, let's put it that way, and you can understand his frustrations, particularly given that they produced a really commendable performance that showed great signs of progress. And in those circumstances, they did make it very difficult for Sunderland, but that piece of tremendous athleticism, composure and finesse from Wilson Isidore made the difference to send that lot home jubilant in the end, having been deposed on Saturday by Burnley, who were victorious at Hillsborough. They are back on top on Sunday. And after 10 games, 22 points, nothing short of a magnificent return in their quest to return to the Premier League. For Hull City, well, you have to take the positives out of it, and there were plenty. But it is Sunderland who take the points. Lee Hendry, your thoughts?
Yeah, but listen, I think it's been a fabulous game. I know it was only 1-0, but, you know, there was really good passages of play from both sides. You know, I can't speak highly of both. It's been a controversial goal that will get spoke about, there's no doubt of it, but, you know, it's quite unique, it was class. And it was always going to take probably a moment of quality to just break the deadlock between these two sides, because Hull, for me, are just slowly on that spiral going up, and we've seen another good performance from a young, talented Sunderland side.
Well, they've taken some unusual routes to get points of late, Sunderland, but they've got 3 points. The final score here, Hull City 0, Sunderland 1.